You were not born just to exist, go through routines, and eventually fade away. You were designed with a purpose, a divine blueprint that was placed inside you before you ever took your first breath. Everything in creation has a reason for being, from the sun that gives light to the trees that provide oxygen. Nothing exists without a purpose, and you are no exception. The problem is that many people live their entire lives without ever discovering why they were born. They drift through life, conforming to expectations, settling for mediocrity, and ignoring the potential that lies dormant within them. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is living without ever knowing why you were here in the first place. Your purpose is not something you create. It is something you discover. It is already inside you, waiting to be awakened. But the old version of yourself, the version shaped by fear, doubt, past failures, and the limitations others placed on you, must die before your true self can emerge. That old version is comfortable, predictable, and resistant to change. It prefers the safety of the familiar over the risk of stepping into the unknown. Yet every great person who has ever walked this earth had to make a decision to reject their old self in order to embrace the future they were meant to live. Your greatest enemy is not the devil, not other people, not the circumstances around you. It is the old version of yourself that refuses to move forward. It is the voice inside you that whispers, "You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Stay where you are. It's safer here." That voice is not your friend. It is the assassin of your destiny. It convinces you that comfort is better than courage, that settling is better than striving, and that the past is proof of what your future will be. But that voice is a liar. The old version of you thrives on fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. It reminds you of every mistake you've ever made and uses your past as a weapon against your future. But if you keep living based on who you used to be, you will never step into who you were meant to become. You cannot hold on to the old and expect to walk in the new. A seed must die before it becomes a tree. A caterpillar must let go of its form before it becomes a butterfly. You must be willing to bury the old version of yourself so that the real you, the powerful, unstoppable, purpose-driven you, can rise. The battle is not external, it is internal. Until you win the war within, nothing outside will change. You can change your surroundings, change your job, change the people around you, but if the old you is still alive, you will always find yourself in the same cycle. Transformation does not happen by accident. It happens by decision. The moment you decide that the old version of you no longer serves you, that is the moment your real life begins. Comfort is the greatest enemy of progress. It feels good. It feels safe. And it makes you believe that staying where you are is the best option. But the truth is, nothing great has ever been achieved inside the walls of comfort. Every person who has ever accomplished something significant had to step beyond what was familiar, beyond what was easy, and into the unknown. The comfort zone is not a place of growth. It is a prison. It locks you into routines, habits, and mindsets that keep you from becoming who you were meant to be. Many people settle in life not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunities, but because they refuse to leave their comfort zones. They desire success, but they do not want to experience discomfort. They want to grow, but they are unwilling to stretch. They want the rewards of transformation without the process of change. But the reality is, every time you refuse to step out of your comfort zone, you are choosing stagnation. The longer you stay in the same place, doing the same things, thinking the same way, the more you imprison yourself in a life of mediocrity. Growth requires discomfort. Just like a seed must break through the soil to become a tree, you must be willing to break through the limitations that hold you back. It is not enough to wish for more. You must be willing to push past what is comfortable. The people who changed the world are not those who had it easy, but those who embraced the struggle, who walked into uncertainty with faith, and who refused to let fear dictate their future. Every level of your life will demand a new version of you, and that new version can only emerge when you dare to leave behind what is familiar. The greatest war you will ever fight is not with other people, not with circumstances, not even with obstacles in your way. The greatest war is in your mind. Your thoughts shape your reality. The way you think determines the way you live. Every limitation in your life begins in your mind before it manifests in your actions. If you believe you are not capable, you will act accordingly. If you believe you are limited by your past, you will never move beyond it. If you believe that success is for other people but not for you, you will live a life that reflects that belief. Transformation begins when you take control of your thoughts. You must train your mind to think differently, to reject the lies of fear and self-doubt, and to embrace the mindset of growth. The greatest leaders, innovators, and visionaries were not those who had perfect conditions, but those who refused to allow limiting beliefs to define them. They mastered their minds, and in doing so, they mastered their lives. You do not need more time, more resources, or more opportunities. You need a renewed mind. When you shift your thinking, you shift your future. Excuses are the silent killers of potential. They disguise themselves as reasons, but in reality, they are nothing more than justifications for staying the same. Every time an excuse is made, an opportunity is lost. People often say they don't have enough time, they don't have the right resources, or they don't have the right connection. But history has shown that the greatest individuals were not the ones who had perfect conditions. They were the ones who refused to let their conditions define them. Excuses build walls around potential, keeping people trapped in cycles of inaction. They create an illusion of powerlessness, making people believe that they have no control over their future. But the truth is, every excuse is a choice to stay stagnant, a choice to settle, a choice to accept less than what is possible. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not talent or luck. It is the ability to silence excuses and take responsibility. Excuses rob people of opportunities that could change their lives. They convince them to wait for the right time, not realizing that time will never feel perfect. The right moment is created by action, not by waiting. Those who achieve greatness do not wait for ideal circumstances. They step out in faith, even when conditions seem unfavorable. They understand that progress is made through effort, not through waiting for everything to align perfectly. Fear often fuels excuses. People fear failure, so they create reasons why they shouldn't even try. They fear rejection, so they convince themselves they are not ready. But every time fear wins, potential is buried. Every great accomplishment requires stepping beyond fear, beyond doubt, and into action. The difference between a life of fulfillment and a life of regret is the willingness to do what others make excuses to avoid. The future belongs to those who are bold enough to claim it. The world does not reward hesitation. It rewards those who take action despite uncertainty. Playing it safe has never led to greatness. The people who changed history were not the ones who followed the crowd, stayed in line, and waited for permission. They were the ones who saw opportunities where others saw obstacles. They dared to dream beyond their circumstances, to believe in something greater than their present reality. Fear of failure keeps many people from ever stepping into their destiny. They would rather stay in familiar struggles than risk the unknown. But fear is only powerful when it is obeyed. The bold understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the process. They do not let setbacks define them, and they do not let fear dictate their choices. Every great achievement was once just a step of faith taken in uncertainty. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of it. The people who shape the future are not those without fear, but those who refuse to let fear hold them back. They take risks, embrace challenges, and push past limitations. Fear will always be present, but it does not have to be in control. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. Many people have dreams, ambitions, and desires for a better life, but very few have the discipline to put in the work required to achieve them. Talent is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. Even opportunities are not enough if there is no discipline to sustain them. The people who rise to greatness are not necessarily the most gifted, but they are the most disciplined. They understand that success is not about what you do occasionally, but about what you do consistently. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing what is necessary, not just what is convenient. Many people are driven by emotions. They work hard when they feel motivated. They push forward when things are easy, but the moment it becomes difficult, they slow down or quit. That is why so many never reach their full potential. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It is the ability to stay committed long after the excitement has worn off. Every successful person has mastered the art of discipline. They wake up early, they prioritize their goals, they stay focused even when distractions come, and they do not allow excuses to derail them. They do not wait for inspiration, they create habits that produce results. They understand that motivation may get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. They train their minds and bodies to obey their purpose rather than their emotions. Discipline also requires sacrifice. It means letting go of temporary pleasures for long-term rewards. It means choosing growth over comfort. Many people want to succeed, but they do not want to give up the habits that keep them from success. They want financial freedom, but they are not willing to be disciplined with their spending. They want to be healthy, but they are not willing to be disciplined with their diet and exercise. They want to be leaders, but they are not willing to be disciplined with their time and learning. Every level of success requires a level of discipline to match it. The uncomfortable path is the one that leads to transformation. People often seek comfort, but comfort never produces growth. The gym is uncomfortable, but it produces strength. Learning a new skill is uncomfortable, but it produces competence. Facing your fears is uncomfortable, but it produces courage. Everything you desire is on the other side of discomfort. Those who embrace the uncomfortable are the ones who experience the impossible. Too many people avoid struggle, not realizing that struggle is what builds them. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles grow through resistance. The strongest trees are the ones that have endured the harshest storms. It is not an easy life that creates powerful people. It is adversity, challenges, and discomfort. The moment you stop running from difficulty and start embracing it, you unlock a level of power within you that you never knew existed. Every challenge you overcome adds to your strength. Every moment of discomfort you endure brings you closer to your true potential. The old version of you must die for the new version of you to emerge. Growth is not an addition, it is a transformation. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly by simply adding wings. It must go through a complete metamorphosis, a breaking down of what it once was to become something new. The same principle applies to your life. If you want to step into the person you were meant to be, you must be willing to bury the version of yourself that no longer serves your future. The old version of you is built on past experiences, failures, fears, and limitations. It is comfortable with what is familiar, even if it no longer benefits you. It clings to old habits, toxic relationships, and negative thought patterns that keep you trapped in cycles of mediocrity. The reason many people never reach their full potential is that they are unwilling to let go of their former selves. They want the rewards of change without the cost of transformation. But true growth requires a funeral. It requires saying goodbye to the excuses, the procrastination, the fear of failure, and the mindset that keeps you small. The hardest battles are often internal. You may not realize it, but you are in a constant war between who you were and who you are becoming. Every decision you make is either feeding your old self or building your new self. Every habit, every thought, and every action is shaping your future. You cannot build a new life with an old mindset. You cannot step into a higher level while clinging to the past. If you want something different, you must become someone different. Many people desire change, but few are willing to go through the process. The process is painful because it requires stripping away everything that no longer aligns with your destiny. It means letting go of friendships that pull you backward, rejecting habits that waste your time, and confronting the fears that have kept you stagnant. It means stepping in discomfort, walking in faith, and trusting that the version of you on the other side is far greater than the version of you that must die. The world is waiting for you to step into your calling. There are people connected to your destiny, people who need what you have inside of you. Your life is not just about you. It is about the impact you were designed to make. The ideas you hold, the talents you possess, the message you carry all have the power to change lives. But none of that can happen if you remain in the shadows of your old self. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out. The world does not need another person playing small. It needs leaders, innovators, and visionaries who refuse to settle. Your existence is proof that you have something to offer. Your voice matters, your ideas matter, your life matters. The question is not whether you have purpose. The question is whether you will rise to it.